Hey, it's Les from the TV Dudes. While at ATX Fest, I was lucky enough to sit down and chat with Chris Coy. He was there principally for his role in HBO's series The Deuce and sat in on the Blown Deadline HBO panel just previous to our conversation. He's also in the upcoming Hulu series Castle Rock, as well as the movie Frontrunner and Trial by Fire. It was a casual conversation in the lobby of the Hotel Van Zant, and I hope you enjoy.
So I didn't get to finish out the first season of The Deuce before this interview. I was struck by Damnedest last night. I wanted to ask you on your character particularly. I love the arc up of you taking more responsibility, as a bartender, having your own ambition.
Yeah.
Almost becoming the brother that his brother ought to be.
Right.
The partner that his brother ought to be.
More. Right. Yeah.
For you, what was it like taking on that role, given that your character isn't just a gay character on a show?
Yeah.
But,
in fact, sexuality is more secondary.
Name drop Stonewall, though.
Yeah, of course.
You have a character that is in an incredibly important period of time.
Yeah.
Were there any particular concerns going into the playing of that role? How you wanted to portray that?
Yeah, I mean, the only concerns that I had were due to the sort of elevated stakes, being that it is Blown Deadline and that it is truth and important and delicate, and like you just said, you want to make sure that you're playing that the right way. And so that was the concern, really, was make sure don't overdo any of this, but don't underdo any of it either. Make sure that you find the groove and right there where the truth is. A lot of times, though, I think if it was another production, more of that would be on my shoulders, and the pressure would therefore be amplified. And instead, because they're so good at what they do, as I said on the panel earlier, I could essentially show up and say those lines, and as long as I wasn't totally full of shit, then the point was going to get across, and the message that they intended to get across was going to get across. Aside from that, just as far as specifically to speak on performance, obviously the concern is believability, and even though his sexuality may be secondary to the narrative, where it is up front is when we're talking about Stonewall or prejudice of any kind in that time and place. And then on top of that, just believability as far as his sexuality, being that I'm a straight man with a wife and 2 kids. And also that I had, to some degree, built a career playing villains, whether it be one episode off some network television where I'm the killer or whatever, or, the last job that I had before The Deuce was Banshee, where I played the leader of the Aryan Brotherhood, and I murdered somebody with my bare hands every episode. And so, up until Deuce, that was my highest profile gig. That was the most anybody had ever seen of me. And so I knew that, okay, if I've developed any sort of fan base, they know me as this guy, and now we're literally going to flip that over completely and play the nice gay guy on this show who's existing in a time and place where being the nice gay guy isn't necessarily conducive to life.
Yeah.
And so it was how do I make sure I walk that line? And I didn't want to play him, didn't want to go stereotype. I didn't want to come in and flare it up or something like that. Yeah. I felt like it was also necessary to kind of make him a man. Not that flamboyancy means otherwise, but...
Well, I think even Franco has Vincent has a line of so we need a marketing ad drawn up. Draw it. You're
I can't draw.
I can draw?
Yeah.
No, but don't all you people...
Yeah, exactly.
I felt like the show walked a very truthful line for the time period that it's set in of even your allies don't necessarily sound like allies.
Yeah, because they're conditioned just like everybody else is. Conditioned to think that they understand who you are because of what you are.
Yeah, I think your character defines him as he's not entirely an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. It's true. That's right. I do say that. He's not a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's not really against me. He just also really doesn't care about learning this language.
Yeah, and he doesn't understand. He's ignorant, but that's not his fault.
Yeah.
Right. It's true.
There's got to be a certain trust and comfort level, I would think, to knowing the quality of scripts that you're going to receive especially when it comes to playing a character that could easily be a bad pastiche.
That's right.
Could be badly written.
That's right. And has been many times before.
Yeah. Was that something that... was there excitement when you were going for this part, having done Treme, having known Blown Deadline's rep?
Oh, beyond that, man. I was like... I was... even though I had a relationship with these people, this production company, I was still so shook going in because I wanted it more than any role I'd ever had, and because it played against sort of the type that I had become or was becoming as an actor. And so for all these reasons, the stakes were really high for me. And oh man, dude, I was terrified. And then like with the test, when I tested for it, I think there was like 9 of us testing, and I don't know that they really had nailed down exactly who they wanted Paul to be, how they wanted him to be. And in true Blown Deadline fashion, they were trusting all of us to come in with our sort of take on it. I mean, God, I don't know if you can do it, but I'll tell you this, that like the day that I get to the test, I get off the elevator, walking down the hallway, and emerging from the test room is this, I mean, dude, he was like a runway model looking guy, so flamboyant and effeminate. And when we walked past each other, I mean, he was beautiful. He was 6'4", and like, you know, we walked past each other, and he ate me with his eyes. And as we passed, he out loud went, "Nope," like just destroyed me basically. And I stood and watched him walk to the elevator, and I turned and out loud I said, "If not me, him." Like, you know what I mean? Because like either way, I just knew that Paul needed strength, whether it be effeminate or otherwise. Didn't matter. He needed to be strong.
Yeah,
and that dude had that.
That had that.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, I was really nervous about the part and stuff like that.
I know I hear from actors a lot that your job is not necessarily doing the show. Your job is going to an endless amount of auditions for your whole career.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that like really
Cranston famously says that really well.
Yes, yeah. That really your gig is finding a way to grind through auditions without losing why you're here.
That's right.
Do you find it's more difficult when you really want it?
Oh, that's what we're saying. Yes, exactly. So, because I wanted it so bad, made it even more impossible. Because then, like, that's like the paradox sort of in the industry, is that like you're only going to make it if you really want to make it, because like otherwise you'll give up really, really early.
Yeah.
But you'll never get a job that you want, because like in order to get it, you got to be cool.
Yeah.
You got to have like a devil may care attitude. But there's no way to fucking have that, because if you're passionate and you're an artist and you want these roles, and like it absolutely makes it harder when you want it. Yeah. But also, I feel like I didn't answer the question earlier. That like, yes, there's an elevated level of trust that goes along with working with these guys, because that writing is so good. And it was, I mean, it has been from the audition point, which again just adds to your nerves being racked, because like not only do you want this role and it's a huge job and it's on HBO and you know people are going to watch it and it's David Simon and all that stuff, but then on top of that you put all those things aside and it's just a great script that comes in. That alone raises the stakes for you as an actor. Even if none of those other ingredients exist and you're not dealing with these prolific people, you get a great script. That's 1 out of every 10 that you get. Most, you know.
Yeah.
And so when you get a good script, that alone can shake you up a little bit. You're like, whoa, this could be something. That's certainly the case with this.
Yeah, I feel like going into a production company like Blown Deadline, you might have more of a sense of like, oh, this could be a hit, this could be big. But I always wonder, when you look at scripts, do you ever get an inkling of oh my God, this might run 10 years, this might run 20 years?
Yeah, of course. Although I've never booked any of those ones. Like this one, we knew. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but we knew from the get-go that it was a 3-season deal.
Yeah, I think Simon talked about
that's
yesterday.
already okay.
Yeah, and y'all are going to jump time periods,
which we have. Yeah, so it's like from season 1 to season 2, it's been 6 years, which is made for a great shift with Paul. season 1 we were only a year or two post Stonewall, and so climate was kind of still sensitive when it came to that sort of stuff. Now we're 6 years beyond that, and there's an ease to the community. There's more expression. They're as liberated as to this day as they've ever been. And that's certainly like the realm that Paul was exploring and living in, and like not just that, thriving. He's like, as are his peers. Like we're all kind of flourishing right then and there, and like living life in a more like libertine fashion than maybe anybody ever has in America. Like that couple years right there, especially in New York City, that time and place, gay community and culture. I mean, we're all naked.
There were places you could go and not. I think about the Tinder almost handhold, and then not. I think first time you see Paul on a date. With technically boyfriend, but with his lawyer
in season 1.
Yeah, in season 1.
Right, where I reach over.
Yes, and it's the tenderest. Like, how long can you risk this?
Yeah, right.
And I thought about the awkward dates in Mad Men, where someone almost hits on a character that everyone knows is gay, but who cannot risk even slightly giving that away.
That's right.
And I found it fascinating to set that in that time period where you heighten it.
That's right.
It also helped me. Shows like that, set like that, make me realize where we are in the conversation now,
100%.
And for the amount of growth that's happened, how awkward things still are.
Right. Which exactly. So like the kind of cool contrast there is that when you're watching season 1 and you think in contemporary terms, you think, God, look how far we've come. When you watch season 2, it's going to be the opposite. You watch season 2, it's such a libertine time where they're so free and expressing it so loudly that you're going to be like, oh wow, we've gone backwards.
Yeah. Now you're from Kentucky
originally,
yeah. My wife is from Shelbyville, outside of Louisville.
Oh man, I'm from Shepherdsville.
No kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been that close.
I've been to Simpsonville and all that.
Got you. So you know what beauty looks like. Man.
Exactly.
It's like
and a lot of blind curves.
Absolutely.
The first time I drove there, I was like, how do y'all do this? There's no signs. That was a 90-degre blind curve with no shoulder.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to be drinking.
So she was like, we all know these roads and we're drunk. Oh my God. So do you live coastal now? You live in LA or New York?
We're right outside Los Angeles in Ventura. My wife and 2 little girls. And then we have an apartment in Brooklyn that we stay at when we're filming The Deuce.
Yeah, I was wondering how you did that. I know
season 1 we stayed there the entire time.
In New York?
Yeah, exactly. And then this season my oldest daughter started kindergarten, and she's already cooler than I ever was and has a ton of friends, and I didn't want to yank her out of that. And so I've been going back and forth a lot. Which is hysterical, because there was certainly a time in the beginning of my career where I was like, one day I'll be a jet setter, I'll be bi-coastal. It's like the biggest pain in my ass.
It'd be a lot easier if you could just stay in one spot.
Of course, yeah. I dream of the day.
And you've got a lot of other projects coming up. You're apologize. Check.
No, you're fine.
You've got Frontrunner coming out about the Gary Hart scandal.
Yeah. So excited.
I brought that up apropos of nothing to somebody the other day in a list of shit I've seen destroy someone's career in my lifetime that wouldn't even blip the radar today.
That's right.
Like the hard sex, was he in a hot tub with somebody? Like the hard sex scandal,
pretty much.
Was
and
nothing.
like and it's a lot of people are like, I don't know if I'm really clear to say this. This certainly wasn't when Sony gave me the talking points. It was essentially like, it's a movie, you're in it, Reitman directed.
Yes.
But the truth is, people are like, it's about the Gary Hart scandal and stuff like that. Yes, that's what we're weaving through. But it's essentially about the moment where like tabloid journalism and real journalism hybridized and became one thing.
Where hard copy became actual news.
That's right, man. Yeah, where it's like, dude, that would have never made anything other than.
Yeah, I remember a current affair when I was a kid. Like, it was
too.
Not news.
That's right, man. That's right.
Yeah.
And again, it's like, it was only really in that moment, because the very next election, Clinton has an even worse scandal happen before he's elected.
Yeah.
And he still wins.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, in that moment right there, it ate him up.
And then you've also got Trial by Fire coming out with Laura Dern, which I was was just
She
talking.
is a gift.
She did a movie about abortion, Citizen Ruth,
Yeah.
that I saw in college that just dropped my jaw, and I've been a huge fan of her ever since.
Oh man.
But
For me,
that's-
it was Jurassic Park.
I still can't believe how big that movie is for my generation. It's so weird that Jurassic Park is such a lodestone. I didn't see that, didn't think about that at the time.
No, of course not. It's the, a dinosaur movie, but
Right.
God, juggernaut.
And so that one's also kind of a social justice.
Yeah, true story.
The Cameron Todd Willingham case.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was just a tragic death row
That's right. Man.
case.
That's right.
The folks from Juvie Productions, I think, are doing a.
But to this day, this state won't admit they're wrong about it.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no. I was talking to someone yesterday about seeing video of people's lawyers sleep through their death row trial,
Right.
and not qualify for a retrial.
That's right. It's crazy.
Has there been? I realize sometimes jobs are what you get. You go out for a ton of auditions and you get what the casting director likes you for.
Of course.
Is there a through line to the projects that have meant the most to you?
For whatever reason, I've been really lucky. Earlier we were talking about, is it harder to get the jobs that you really want? And I mentioned this on stage at the panel earlier as well, that, I'm lucky in the sense that when the pressure goes up, I don't know if it's desperation or just, being terrified of failing, but I perform, I think, better when the stakes are raised. And so I've been fortunate to land a lot, even though I audition, I play the odds, I go out for everything. I'm not a judgmental performer. If the script comes in, even if the script is subpar, I'll usually find something I love about the character, something I love about playing him. But for whatever reason, man, I've ended up landing a lot of the ones that I wanted. And I've been lucky in that, especially in the last couple of years, they've been really diverse. There's been a lot of differences between these guys. I mean, even right now, we're talking about Paul, and then Daniels, the prison guard that I play in Trial by Fire, is a Texas, hard-ass, especially in the beginning. There's an arc and a shift that happens, but he's a piece of shit, man. Abusive and terrifies Cameron Todd Willingham while he's in there, knowing that he might be innocent. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He belongs to me.
Yeah.
And then Frontrunner, I haven't seen anything from it. I'm so fucking excited about it. They dyed my hair red and permed it. I have a crazy red beard, and they let me wear clothes that were 2 sizes too big, so I'd look wankier and skinny, and he's a real guy. This guy Kevin Sweeney, brilliant press secretary, who ultimately kind of ended up short end of the stick, for unfortunate reasons.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this brief little blip in time where people gave it.
Where suddenly this mattered and you were in the
Yeah,
wrong
and we could
spot.
execute this guy in his career, and he was a casualty of that. Excuse me. But again, so different from Paul or Daniels or the character I've got in the Hulu show that's coming up.
Castle Rock,
Yeah. And I'm not saying that as a testament to my performance ability, but just that, I've been lucky in that, for whatever reason, different casting directors see me as different people. And that's been the case over the years, too, where, my agents or manager will call me and be like, I'm trying to get you on this thing, but they think that you can only play computer geek.
It's so-and-so, and they think of you as villain. Or
Yeah, exactly. And this guy thinks of you as this or whatever. And more recently, I think that those opinions have started to mesh a little more. And but God, it's been 10 years, which is crazy to me to think that. Yeah. Did I answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, thank you so much.
Dude, thank
for
you.
your
This
time
was fun,
today.
man.
Yeah,
Fuck, I
really
forgot about
appreciate
this a couple times.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV Dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.